Writing my 10 books on guitar, I discovered every instrument has a story. I'd like to share these stories with you. My personal guitar story began in 1960 in Liverpool with my first hearing of a Fender Stratocaster. Bruce Welch of The Shadows takes up the story.
We had a vocal first, Feeling Fine. Jet Black, we thought we'll try an instrumental. That wasn't a hit. And so we're talking about now, we're probably about May of 59-ish, thereabouts. Cliff was enormous, hit records, huge. So we would be touring all the time. So on one of these tours, we had a guest, a guy called Jerry Lorden, was a singer-songwriter, as they were called in those days, still are. And he'd had 2 or 3 small hits himself, I'll Stay Single and something else. And we'd had the 3 flops. So we're into maybe April of 1960 by now, not April of 1960. And we're on a tour. Jerry's on the tour. We became great friends. And he said to us on the bus, because we travel by coach everywhere then, he said, will you be making another single? He was trying to be kind, saying, you've had 3 flops, but will you be making another single? So we said, yeah, every 3 months we tend to need another single. And he said, I've got a tune can I play you this tune? So we're on the coach, he goes to the back of the bus, comes forward with a ukulele. I think it's actually called a quattro, I think. A quattro. We'd never seen one. So he plays the rhythm, ching, 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 ching. And he just sang the tune, down, 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 ching, 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 ching. Not as good as I played it, obviously, but So Hank and I loved it. We said, we've got to play this to Norrie Paramor. And evidently, years later I found out he'd played it to Jet the night before. But Jet hadn't said anything. He's just said, play that to Hank and Bruce. You should play it to Hank and Bruce. So we got this melody. We go to Norrie Paramor when the tour had finished and said, Norrie, we've got this song, a tune. And we played it for not the finished version of it, just the tune. And he said, yeah. He said, but I've got your next A side. I've chosen it. It's going to be an old army song called Quartermaster Stores. Da da down, down, da da da, all that stuff. So he said, we'll do that as the A side and Apache as the B side. So in we go. 3 hours. You had to do 3 tunes in 3 hours in those days on your contract. That was your contract. Anyway, we only had 2. So we played Quartermaster Stores because there was a TV show called Quartermaster Stores. So we called it Quartermaster Stores. I thought it was a really good record. And we played it, and we did Apache in the same session. And Apache was we knew it was something really, really special. So we said to Norrie, he said, no, that'll be great. So Quartermaster Stores is going to be the A side. And we said, Norrie, Apache's just so different. It's so new. Hank and his Echo Box, we think it's better than, you shouldn't really say that to your producer, because it was his choice. We think it's better than Quartermaster Stores. He said, tell you what I'll do, I'll take it home and play it to my daughters. And he went back to his daughters and played them Apache, or played both tracks, and they chose Apache. That had happened once before. He had the same thing when he made Move It with Cliff. Move It was going to be the B-side. And Norrie had chosen a thing called Schoolboy Crush, which was a hit in America for some teen idol, one of those. And same thing. He took it back to his daughters and said, which one do you like out of this? And they chose Move It. So they chose Move It, and they chose Apache. And here we are 60-odd years later, and that was it. Just changed our lives, changed our world forever, that tune. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Yeah.
Wonderful as it was, That first Stratocaster guitar, used on Apache, soon needed a setup, and in 1960 there were no guitar techs and no guitar tools. Even finding a Phillips screwdriver and an Allen wrench was a problem. There were no electronic tuners, so tuning a guitar was done to a piano or a tuning fork, if you could find one. The Shadows soon gave up on their Fenders and switched to Burns guitars. Thankfully, things have moved on, and these days you can find all the tools you need and lots of helpful expert advice. Every guitar can be made to play and sound better with a little TLC. I want to help, so if you have any specific challenges with your guitar, drop me an email and I will help. Bruce has many more fascinating stories coming soon in Guitar Story. Check out my new digital manuals with all the setup help you need, now with free professional video supplements.